Even when she was dead, she was still bitching at me. That was a man describing killing his own mother. And that's not even the most disturbing part. What if the scariest thing about serial killers isn't what they did, it's what they said afterward? These aren't rants. These are calm, articulate, almost philosophical statements delivered by men who understood exactly what they were. And that's precisely what keeps forensic psychologists up at night. Because here's the question science still can't answer. How do you understand yourself so completely and still not stop? Today we're counting down 7 quotes that experts and neuroscientists still cannot fully explain. These get worse as we go. Number 7. John Wayne Gacy. The only thing they can get me for is running a funeral parlor without a license. Gacy said this to a psychiatrist while 33 bodies were decomposing beneath his house. Psychologists point to extreme narcissism and compulsive denial. But compartmentalization, this deep holding both realities simultaneously with zero felt contradiction, doesn't just challenge criminal profiling. It breaks it. Number 6. Carl Panzram. I took him out to a gravel pit. His brains were coming out of his ears when I left him, and he will never be any deader. No rage, no remorse, no emotional register at all. Just a man recounting a child's murder the way you describe changing a tire. But here's what makes Panzram different from every other entry on this list. He wasn't just cruel, he was coherent. He constructed a complete philosophy, one that had no room for other people, for society, or ultimately for himself. He wrote letters from prison begging to be executed. His nihilism wasn't a symptom of something broken. It was a finished worldview, and there is no clinical model that accounts for a man who reasons his way all the way to wanting oblivion. Number 5. Dennis Rader. I actually think I may be possessed with demons. I was dropped on my head as a kid. Dennis kept handwritten journals, detailed, methodical logs he called Factor X, cataloging his fantasies, his stalking rituals, his drive to bind, torture, and kill. For decades, while serving as a church deacon, while raising a family in suburban Wichita. Most people who feel compelled towards something destructive don't understand why. Rader did. He named the compulsion. He tracked it like a researcher studying a specimen for 30 years. He just couldn't make himself stop. That's what no checklist has ever explained. Number 4. Peter Kürten, the vampire of Dusseldorf. Moments before his own guillotine execution, Kürten leaned toward the attending psychiatrist and asked completely calmly, "After my head has been chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from my neck?" No fear, no prayer. Pure scientific curiosity about whether dying could give him one last thrill. Forensic psychology links this to extreme sadistic paraphilia, but the lived experience of finding pleasure in your own execution, that remains completely opaque to science. Number 3. Jeffrey Dahmer. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight when you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object. Dahmer said this like a clinician, calm, measured, almost instructional. Here's the uncomfortable part. The language of depersonalization isn't entirely foreign to any of us. We reduce people to functions every day: a driver who cuts us off, a face on a screen, a stranger we'll never see again. The difference is a threshold most people never approach. Dahmer didn't just cross it, he mapped the crossing. He could describe the exact cognitive mechanism with more precision than the researchers studying him. That's what brain imaging and childhood trauma data still can't explain, not that it happened, but that he understood how. Number 2. Ted Bundy. Murder is not about lust, and it's not about violence. It's about possession. When you feel the last breath of life coming out of the woman, you look into their eyes. At that point, it's being God. Bundy didn't deliver this in a breakdown. He said it like a thesis statement. Articulate, organized, on death row. Psychologists have debated his wiring for decades, but the precision with which he described his own God complex, the clinical calm of it, is something no model predicted, and none has since explained. Number 1. E.D. Kemper. IQ estimated between 136 and 145. cooperated fully with FBI profilers, gave detailed, almost clinical confessions about domination, fantasy, and compulsion. And then said this about his mother, whose abuse had shaped everything. Even when she was dead, she was still bitching at me. I couldn't get her to shut up. Here's what haunts psychologists. Kemper sounds like one of them. He turned himself in. He explained his own psychology more accurately than the experts evaluating him. He understood the fantasy, the escalation, the triggers, all of it. And he couldn't stop. That's the crack in everything we think we know. Most people have had the experience of understanding exactly why they're doing something self-destructive, and doing it anyway. That gap between insight and control is something almost everyone recognizes in small ways. In Kemper, that gap contained everything. Self-awareness wasn't the cure, it was just another layer of the disease. Forensic psychologist Louis Schlesinger has said the internal experience of what drives a serial killer is, his word, unknowable. Not underfunded, not unresearched. Unknowable. That's a scientist drawing the edge of the map. Which of these changed how you think about something? Drop it below. Next week, killers who said absolutely nothing at all, and why silence told us more. We serial killers are your sons, we are your husbands, we are everywhere.